to Sarah's table. Pew, pew, pew. Finger guns. Always. Pew, 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 pew. Hi. I'm Sarah Moore. My pronouns are she, her, and I'm going to be your host tonight. And your favorite person. I'm going to remind you to have some water. Because even though it is snowing in Chicago, you're probably dehydrated. Heat's on. It's making everything really dry. Have a drink. Today we are playing a game called Connection Lost. It's by Tobie. It is described as a game of distant togetherness, and it is from a collection of role-playing games for two called You and I. I think the whole thing was like $8 or something, and there's 15 games in it, so go check that out. Really easy to go in, and it's split up into categories of like games that you can play apart, games that you should be in the same room for, and games that you need to have physical touch in order to complete. So lots of options for people. Okay. So today is maybe really sad. It's a really sad game. So I want to do a quick safety discussion before I introduce my fellow player. As you know, here on Sarah's table, there will never be sexual violence, violence against children, withholding food as punishment, or starvation. But know that this game is going to end in tragedy. And it has a literal ticking clock that will happen as we play it. And so if you're not feeling the sads today and you don't want to do that, maybe go check out one of my silly ones like Goblin Errands. Otherwise, strap in, grab some tissue. It's maybe some sort of comforting blanket and a food that you like to eat when you cry. Okay. I feel like I've warned people sufficiently. I'm going to throw it over to my friend Becca. Who are you? Where do you come from? Who are you at your core?
Who am I? Well, we might find out today, honestly. Yeah. I'm very excited about this. But yes, I'm Becca Godsey. You can find me on Twitter under Becca Godsey or on various other social media platforms as Caustic Phoenix. But most of all, I just love diving into people's stories. I love the chance and what it reveals about who we are, what we want to tell, and what we can learn from it. So I love being here on your table, Sarah. Thank you for inviting me.
I would like you to hold on to that feeling.
Okay.
Because, yes. So I mentioned there was a ticking clock.
Mm-hmm.
The reason why there is a ticking clock is because you are trapped in a crippled spacecraft orbiting Earth. The ship is rapidly losing altitude as the planet's gravity pulls you in. Your engines, thrusters, and most of the other ship's systems are dead and beyond repair. The only operational gear aboard is your communicator, which is locked to a single frequency and a single voice on the other end, which I will be playing. You will die at the end of an hour. Certain doom descends, and you are going to spend this time speaking to this person through your communicator. With any luck, you will come to terms with your mortality and find peace in this final conversation.
Ooh. Okay, that's a mindset.
It's a mindset.
It feels odd to start a story already knowing that
knowing where it's going.
Yeah. Kind of freeing.
Yeah. There's kind of nothing left to lose. Can get everything out.
There's a weird mix of emotions right now.
Yeah. Yeah. And this is one that they suggest for the environment is that you should be physically separated. It is detrimental to the game if you can touch each other.
Okay.
Also recommended that you have a window near you that you can look out, which you do. There it is. Just Setup for this game, super simple. The first thing we're going to do is we each have a deck of cards. Do you feel good about how shuffled they are?
Yes.
And have you included your jokers?
Yes.
Okay. First thing we are doing is discarding the top 20 cards of your deck.
Okay.
So this remaining deck is there to help you if you need a prompt or a spark. Prompts are if you are starting the conversation, asking a question, doing something like that. Sparks are if you need help answering a question that I ask you. And I sent you your sparks and prompts in your little thing there. Also, we're setting a couple of things up. You have a couple of questions to answer. And you're going to draw in order to do that. Okay. The first question is, why are you trapped? So draw the top card.
Diamonds.
All right. Diamonds. Oh, hey, you're lying. You're not trapped. You chose to stay up here.
Okay. Okay.
All right. Let's find out why you were in orbit in the first place. Draw another card, please.
Joker.
Oh.
Do I reshuffle this one back in?
No. You get to choose.
Oh.
You have a couple of options. You were handling cleaning duties in one of the space stations. You are not actually from the Earth, but you are keeping pretenses. You just returned from a secret government mission off-world, or you don't remember.
I'm going to go with you're not actually from Earth, but are keeping pretenses.
Okay. And your last question to answer, which is a big one, is what is really happening? So let's draw one more time.
King.
King of what? King of clubs. Let's go down to clubs. It's another choice because it's a face card. Oh. Here are your options. Let's do the big categories first. First of all, it was an alien encounter. So, did it go badly or was it beautiful?
Let's go badly.
Went badly. Okay, give me an even number between 2 and 10.
2.
You tried to escape, but the aliens are after you and they are 1 hour away.
Oh, since I'm not from Earth, can the aliens be Earthlings?
For you, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Here we go. I have a secret. I'm not going to tell you what it is because otherwise.
That was going to be my first question.
What is it?
What's your secret? I only have an hour. It'll be safe with me.
Well, it's going to come out because it has to.
Okay.
At the end of the hour, you will be ending the game by saying, I'm out of time.
Okay.
With that in mind, would you like to have the timer on your end? Or do you want me to do it on mine?
I'll let you do it on your end.
Okay. Let's do the handy dandy iPhone timer. Okay. Are you ready?
Yes.
Okay, here we go. Can you can you hear me up there? Hello?
Yes. Yeah. Hello?
Hello.
Oh, this is working.
What do you mean?
No,
Why
no,
wouldn't
no,
it
no,
be working?
no. I've been wondering if anyone would answer. I've been sending out a little SOS signal, and I didn't know if anyone could actually hear this.
Oh, yeah, I mean I'm reading you. I feel like you're coming through a little garbled, but I can hear you.
Okay. Is it easier if I talk slower or louder?
Um maybe are you like passing between something? Where are you exactly? I can't get a read on you.
Passing between something. What, like be between planets? Maybe. I suppose it just depends on where you're at.
Well, I mean, I'm well, where else would I be? I'm in mission control, obviously.
Whose mission control?
Yours? Like, how else would you have gotten the
Oh,
signal?
well, I didn't know who this was connecting to exactly. I'm sorry. A little disoriented. I apologize.
What seems to be the problem? Are you all right?
Um, all right for now. It's a time frame sort of situation.
What do you mean?
Uh, I'm being chased, essentially. Well, I guess chase isn't the right word because I'm not really going anywhere.
You who is chasing you?
Oh, well, I think they must have found out when I was on Earth.
Who I feel like maybe I missed something important. You were on Earth and someone found something out?
It must have been like a government. They have enough resources to actually find me up here at this point. So obviously, it can't be like some small child or a civilian that they had. It had to be someone who can orchestrate something with probably military background of sorts and resources.
Why did you why did you specify that you were on Earth though? Where else would you have come from?
Well, I thought you were my mission control.
How would that be different?
You're from Earth, aren't you?
Of course I am from Earth. I mean, that that's it. That's what we have. There isn't anybody else out there. I mean, not that we've found, right?
Who do you think we is? Who we found you. Earth has had many encounters with, well, non-Earthlings. I mean, not very well, obviously, because relations haven't been established. And just like me, we're being once again evacuated as negotiations have seemed to not appreciate our ability to try to understand and negotiate better relationships. I don't know. I was more supposed to be undercover.
So so you
But
were
I'm not
in
the first.
you were an infiltrator then.
Infiltrator sounds aggressive and like a conqueror following. It's more reconnaissance, you could say. Yes, reconnaissance. That seems to be the right kind of word for you to. I think my translator is working all right. It's not meant to be malicious. It was more so in taking a general assessment on your technology, the civilian life values as cultures that you host, general progress through your time spans, lifespan capabilities, uh, medical progress that you've developed, taking those assessments so that way when we come to the table, we can kind of offer it being more culturally sensitive to your needs, test our language capabilities to make sure we understand. But I was definitely not the first. I mean, I know there's nothing established officially, but I thought there were at least a few of you, at least in mission control, who would.
How do you feel about having been here? I mean, was it lonely?
That's part of the mission, though. I mean, when you go undercover, you're not supposed to get attached. That adds bias, but it was here a couple of years. It was interesting to observe, harder to understand from a distance.
Did you make any connections while you were here?
Nothing particularly permanent. Just the usual standards, right? Creating identities require interaction with basic government officials, finding temporary housing, right? Making connections, waving to the typical old lady neighbor at the front of your apartment building. Those kind of standard routines that you go through, but not many names exchanged. Not that I needed to. Most of that is actually provided very easily on your internet. So I was able to access most profiles that way.
But there wasn't anyone that was kind to you?
Polite. Polite might be the appropriate word. Most, though, particularly indifferent. I will say everyone seems very busy here. There, where you are.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. Everybody's always busy.
Are you always busy as well?
Yeah, I mean, most of the time, I think. Probably don't need to be, but it feels like I'm supposed to be productive. That's what they teach you, right?
It did seem like most systems were set up to optimize not necessarily productivity, but busyness.
What did you learn?
Well, despite being very busy and people always having somewhere to be, happiness levels didn't seem particularly high.
I feel like maybe you were looking in the wrong places. That's one of the great things about us, I think, is that we can find joy in like the tiniest things.
What are tiny things that you experience joy in? I went to most public places, grocery stores, restaurants. I saw many waiters exhausted, tired, yelled at.
Yeah. I mean, we are, as a people, really good at that, making people feel small and not enough. But I also think that like there are these moments that just like make you feel warm, right? Like getting caught in the rain with a good friend and ending up laughing and playing in the water, or like the first time that you make direct eye contact with that person that has been making you feel so excited to be around, and like knowing that they feel the same way back, or like hearing your kids laugh. Like there's like so many little moments, and I feel like if you were only looking in the busy places, that you didn't find it. I can't imagine what your report looks like.
Oh, not Well, not particularly impressive, to be honest. I think about those moments you described. I have elements that seem to perhaps have been missed in my report.
Yeah.
Not included in mine because my experience was not necessary. But there were beautiful moments, but not always created by the humans or seemed to be shared amongst you.
What do you mean?
You have very beautiful things that surround you. When you mention like the warmth of the sun, right? Like, or the dancing in the rain experience, you have an environment that is so expressive. You have so much variety on your planet of deserts where you can feel the warmth and the sand scratch across your face as the wind carries it. You can go to a murky, heavy, humid forest where the green just feels like you can breathe it in. You can go stand by a waterfall where as it falls down to the ground, it kisses your face with little droplets. But those always felt as an individual experience.
What about animals? I mean, people here bond deeply with animals as pets, and they share emotions and lives with them. Is there anything for you that you found?
It varied. Like humans, it was very almost unpredictable. Some of them absolutely the cutest, strangest things. Dogs that, even though they looked very ugly, were somehow also adorable to me. I don't understand how it was both things at the same time. Things where you might be medically very concerned for missing teeth and eyes that looked in different directions. And yet it was something that you would want to have in your home.
Yeah. But you kept yourself separate.
This might have been an overstep, but I was to be an observer. Participating and creating my own bonds would eliminate and perhaps also make me too connected. I was supposed to stay for another year, but, well, compromised.
How could you possibly tell them about the human experience if you didn't let yourself be a part of it?
That's hard to answer. One is because we're told not to, so it was the thing that I started with, the appropriate thing. You create barriers. That, and you have to be very careful. Also, part of the reason why I had to leave early. As it turns out, when they know that you are not human, they become interested in you for other reasons. And I assume I would probably not be able to continue staying at the apartment I was at.
What other reasons?
Well, I suppose it doesn't matter now. Well, you're all a little terrifying.
How
I didn't
so?
include that in the report because that's a little embarrassing, but well, one, you're unpredictable on how you could respond, how much you can choose to open up. And once you start with those barriers, it's hard to kind of reinforce them, right? The floodgates start to open. It's easier to have clear boundaries. That way you don't have to keep renegotiating them. The routine makes it easier. to be able to know how you're supposed to interact and what is expected of you. And that way the outcome becomes much more predictable in that process.
You're afraid of telling them who you are.
Yes. It's not unheard of, at least within human lore, movies, TVs, comics of aliens being captured and probed. You have a whole Area 51 sensationalizing the whole thing.
Did anyone try to hurt you?
Not beyond the normal hurt to each other, but I think it is because they did not know. Until someone must have known.
Why do you say that?
Started with being watched. More cars than usual with people sitting in them, specifically facing my window. And then I would come back after observations and things would be moved around inside my residence, things that shouldn't have moved. I don't even have many things inside there. Notes, more just drawings. I looked very much like an artist of yours. The sketches of people, of scenes, of moments captured, reports, right? Nothing particularly interesting, all already available, but moved, disorganized. I have a particular system, alphabetical, very clear, with tabs, and they are color-coded. But then they weren't when I came back.
Did you want this mission?
Well, it is considered an honor and an exciting adventure. If you go on a mission like this, it's recognized that you have made a great contribution, and potentially, if relationships do exist, it could allow for a peaceful transfer. It was an important part of the mission to make sure that ideally the future will be better.
You didn't say yes.
I was honored to be chosen.
But I chosen, you didn't volunteer.
I took a pathway that led me there. Much like your education system of choosing areas of focus to develop skills and experience and expertise, I had found myself in a very similar pathway. I was the most qualified for this particular planet. I believe that my language skills are proficient enough. You seem to be understanding me perfectly.
I can, of course. Who did you leave behind?
Not many that I was concerned with leaving. I suppose that's also why I was not as concerned with too much of the loneliness here. I have a unit, a family, as you would kind of identify it. But I suppose it's a difference of vision of past versus looking towards the future. I was more interested in the future.
What was the ultimate goal for you? You were going to come here, going to learn all about Earth culture. We're going to bring your report back.
Yes.
And what happens then?
Well, ideally, in identifying perhaps needs that Earth has or areas that we could provide resources or also ask for exchange where Earth could offer. Mutual exchange tends to provide better results instead of one offering more to the other. So looking for the mutual benefit, if I could identify those, then I could create a proposal. That way, hopefully, when the conversations happen, they can be successful. It would be historic and noteworthy on that end. It would be recorded in VODs of the event itself. It would change the course of history for both groups, Earth and mine. It would be incredibly impressive, actually. Honestly, the collaboration would hopefully allow for survival of both. Maybe not even just survival, but success. Maybe the deletion of the busyness and the drive of mere trying to get by and the limited resources, but by sharing enough and finding solutions together that both can find something in time and material for something bigger, more fulfilling. And for that future, even I may not see it, it would be worth giving to.
Why aren't you going to see it?
When these sort of things take progress, they take a lot of time and probably more leadership, much higher up than myself, to make it happen. And then on top of that, not only do you need policy, but then it will take societal changes on both. The integration process itself, the assimilation from one to another, and the exchanges of said policies and individuals would take years, at least. Even my own at this point, right? The stages we've been sending informatives for. Well, I must be what, the 10th at this point. Somewhere from 3 to 5 years each on average, some more, some less, depending on their success and integration into society for each of them. But I mean, for much of this, we've been building, and eventually it will be built. It still requires more building blocks, and I can give to that. My note taking was excellent.
Why don't you tell me the thing you're most proud of that you found and put in your notes?
Well, most of our note taking is meant to just be notes. But I added more of my own depictions within it. There's only so much that can be conveyed via written. Even in your own writings, reading all of the different documentations you have, the ones I enjoyed the most are, well, it will sound silly as they often are just given to children, but the ones with pictures. Even going to your restaurants, I always felt more informed when I had images to choose from.
I mean, we have a saying here that a picture is worth 1,000 words.
Yes, yes. So in my report, I included mini sketches. They're not particularly well done. It has taken me a while. Over the years, I have gotten better. So they include more detail as they go forward. But I try to capture the little moments. How you interact. I like my attention to detail. I'm very good at that. I can see when somebody is smiling or when they seem bored or irritated, the hesitation when they choose to reach out and hold someone's hand, or how exhausted, and you can see it in their shoulders when they're carrying their bags or their laptops from one thing to another, or how they tap on their steering wheel, irritated from the continual pile of traffic on a Friday at 3 p.m.
Don't you have art on your planet?
Art exists in many ways. Most of it is not actually through writing or drawing, so not necessarily like poetry or painting and sketching. It's more bodily with vocals and dance and movement. But that wasn't anything I was particularly good at. So appreciative, of course, but not as coordinated.
But you
much like on here, there's I could do
a range.
yes. Here I could do things like the Macarena. That was easy for me to pick up.
Sure.
The chicken dance as well. Very straightforward. Any with very clear movements, the one with like 2 steps each time and then slide to the left made it very easy.
Instructions
to partake in. Yes. Friendly in that anyone, including others who were far worse than myself, were partaking in. And I thought that was actually a very nice, welcoming way to make sure everyone gets to feel expressive.
What? So if there was music playing, you mentioned that you have done lots of things with music. You identified the things that you were easier, you connected with more.
Yes.
If there weren't instructions, what did you do if there was music playing?
Just slightly move back and forth, but I didn't want to add to it because I didn't want to diminish the work that was there.
How would you enjoying it diminish the work?
More of a distraction, I believe. It felt more important to create space for their art rather than to me add to it.
I mean, that sounds, I don't know, it sounds really sad.
You have to understand, I'm not skilled or naturally talented to move in those ways. And honestly, as a whole, for most, they're very, very excellent at it. It's amazing to watch. But I mean, the stage is only so big.
Why does it have to be on a stage? Why can't you just move for you?
I close my eyes and I listen to it. I picture what it would look like if I could move that way. But when I do, or even like in the privacy of my quarters, it is clunky and things ache. My joints crack a lot more than I think they're supposed to. And honestly, even here on Earth, I was worried that if I continue it, I would not be able to seek the medical help that I need. And it would just continue to get worse. Though I suppose at this point, that doesn't really matter.
You keep saying stuff like that. Why does it not matter? What do you mean?
Well, I mean, I imagine when I am captured, if they choose to do so, I don't think dancing is going to be on the table for me.
And you're sure someone is coming for you?
Very. The reports are very clear on that end, and I'm quite confident that I've done enough anyway. I've sent the reports off at this point, but traveling home seems impossible. Perhaps this will be easier and the final part in which I can offer to make the negotiations feel less strange, alien to Earthlings. That was a joke. Because I'm the alien.
Yeah.
Perhaps by knowing me and doing whatever tests, interviews, probing, dissection that they need, they can feel more informed and safer.
You're just going to let them cut you up?
Well, that sounds less eloquent in that, but I see of it as giving them an important piece of the puzzle. You all depict aliens in various different ways. Giant fingers, lasers, massive eyes. Actually, we don't look very different. But until you know that biologically, there's probably a lot of uncertainty. And people have a difficult time trusting, right? That which is uncertain. That's why you put so much information everywhere on the internet. You ask so many questions. Is it not easier to trust when you know them?
It sounds like you're giving up, though. I mean, there's lots of machines that we have that could look inside you without ending your life.
The extent of curiosity is probably higher. And while I'm happy to provide information, I would prefer not to have to suffer through it.
So
I think it would be helpful. And it would be a good kindness and gift I could give both groups.
So you've done everything in your life that you want to do?
It's satisfactory. There's not an objective way to measure life on what is necessary. And I mean, even your own philosophers challenge what is the meaning of life. So to know when it is fulfilled or enough is really an unnecessary question and up to each individual and what goals you have and what you want to provide. So for me, in wanting to lead to this future, it could be one of the better options. It's probably the most that I could do. I'm not leadership.
Yeah, but you keep talking about like the thing that you are supposed to do. You were talking about how humans always stay busy and they have all of these things that they're being pushed to do, and everything that you're saying sounds the same. It's a thing that you are doing for your people and for humans and for the thing that they could potentially do together and for the future, but none of that is for you. What is it that you would still want to do? It sounds like you're running out of time. What is it that you want?
What is it that I want is a hard question. What can anybody want out of life? I think is even harder to answer and to expect from it. I think it would be very agreeable and wonderful to give yourself to something greater. But I can't dance like the rest of my group. My unit doesn't connect with me on my vision. And my goal is all that I have. But I have found out enough, good enough that I think opportunities and discussions could be had, but I know that more information could be provided on our end, and then somebody has to provide that. I will not be the one to start the negotiations. I'm not high enough for that.
You could have sent out the reports ages ago. But you stayed and you drew things. None of your predecessors drew anything.
Well, they may not even want it.
But you want it.
It will be recorded. And then they can decide if they want to use it or not.
Don't worry about the recording. Tell me your favorite thing that you drew.
It was of a dessert.
Oh, a dessert.
It was at a restaurant, and they allowed the family to bring in a cake, and it was hideous, not lopsided and all. It was, I think it looked like it was supposed to be 3 tiers, but it was more like 2.5 because part of it leaned down so much and the candles trickled down that it looked like it would be a fire hazard on top of it. And it had 3 different icings on there. And it was presented to the eldest at the table, and the children all around it screaming and eyes lit up. Just, you could tell they were probably the ones who had created it. And so I drew this creation. My poor mimicry of it, but I had drawn what they had made. And there was, I think the grandmother probably was a little unimpressed with it, but honestly, for small children, that is a lot to accomplish. I could not do 3 tiers. So what they had done was a lot. And to be able to transport it to the restaurant itself. And the fact that others went along with it and lit it up and presented it like it was this grand gift was, well, very beautiful as well. I even sang a little bit of the happy birthday song with them from the bar, very quietly into my martini. But it was so entrancing that I felt pulled into the scene. And so I had to draw it.
Has anybody ever done that for you?
Oh, those aren't really moments to fuss at. You just, it's great. You, that you continue another cycle around the sun or whatever star you happen to be going around. And it is a thing that is expected. And people congratulate you.
No one celebrate you.
Varying degrees. I had they saved some capsules of birthday wishes so I could open them while I was here, and that was very nice.
What did they say?
Hope you're doing well. Congratulations. Be sure to dance.
No, I love yous.
A few from my unit. Yeah, when you sign your name, you go love name.
No, I miss yous.
They knew what I was doing.
It's not what I asked.
It's unspoken.
Is that enough for you?
Oh, yes. No, it was very nice because sending those messages are entirely optional as is. So the fact that they sent that was very nice. They probably had to ask if they could send them ahead of time in preparation. And that can take a while because they have to also be approved. And you have to go through the process of recording them and then storing them in a place where I could not open them until it was time. So there was a lot of thought behind it.
Sounds kind of sterile.
No. If it's typical, it doesn't feel as sterile. That's the expectation how most messages are sent.
But how did you feel when you saw that scene?
The birthday cake?
Yeah.
Amused. She couldn't blow them all out in one attempt. her teeth almost came out too. That's when I discovered she had dentures. Also, first time I knew of dentures. That was, at first I thought you had the ability to throw out your teeth, which would have been much more exciting. And then my news report would have been much more popular, and definitely my drawings by far more interesting. But it did seem to be one of those happy moments.
Yeah. Could you see yourself in that moment with other people? Your family, your unit?
Oh, we don't really do things like that.
As a culture or as a family?
Oh, varying groups celebrate in their own different ways. It's just harder, especially being on different planets and realizing my comms now is so much more limited. It's it made it easier to prepare for something like this.
You came here knowing you weren't going to go back.
Oh, well, there's always the risk. I mean, part of the understanding is that technology, your ship may not be able to handle it, or something else could happen. You could be found out. There's always a chance. And so mentally you have to prepare that the return may not happen.
No, I
that
know.
Was something that was actually fairly easier for me to take on. And one of the reasons why I was further along on the list. I actually wasn't supposed to come until years later. But things just lined up a little bit easier for me. So because I was available, that actually moved forward my career options a lot sooner. And that was really exciting. This was a goal that I had had. And of course I was going to say yes.
But you chose to come knowing that you were going to send your reports back and not go back.
Well, they don't need me really anymore. There's a lot of people's the easier word, people that can do the same thing that I can do. So that is not a problem. Where I would fit back in would feel more like, well, I would probably be put back into the data analysis and just stare at a screen and to provide more reports like that. I was much happier to be in the field. Out here, it was much better because I could see and interact and take the numbers, and I could go out then and confirm that they were accurate. Because as it turns out, there's a lot of your information out there that is sometimes fake. It was hard to discern. So it was very exciting that I could actually go out and investigate. And I'd much rather stick with that than go back.
So you would rather never see your people again?
Sometimes it feels like I do see them. I mean, as I mentioned, we look rather similar. So it's not exactly like, oh, I'm missing, cousin Ed with 3 arms. We've still all built very similarly. My cousin doesn't have 3 arms, though. We all look pretty similar.
Why didn't you just send the reports and then go start over somewhere where they weren't looking at you?
I don't know what that would look like. It was easier to start over here because I had a foundation. At least with moving here, it made it a lot easier because, of course, I had the government backing on that. I was able to find an identity, location, which areas would be sufficient enough and resources to be able to fund my research and the efforts I would need to do. So that made it a lot easier. But if I went back, I would have to start from scratch. I don't know. I don't know if my old apartment would probably be open. Probably not. We have overcrowding issues as well, which is why we're looking at different opportunities. And I don't think they found any other place to terraform at this point. And even if they did, it would be very expensive probably to go there. And field agents don't exactly get paid a lot. Go figure. And any currency that I earned here wouldn't translate over. There's not a exchange program yet on that end. So that all has no value to be able to bring back with me. So I would go back, and the only job I'd be qualified for would be one I don't want to do, into a place where I don't know if I would have a place to stay. And I really quite like the food here. There's a lot more use of sugar and butter, and I like that a lot. Bacon is also very good here.
Feel like I should tell you who I am.
Oh, you're mission control on Earth, right? Are you in Florida or Texas?
I'm not mission control. You're probably not gonna like it, but take a look at your radio.
Did I calibrate it wrong?
I'm betting you don't see any lights.
That thing is supposed to be blinking, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been a while since I've been in this machine. Okay. I didn't read the manual, I'll admit that.
I don't think your radio has ever worked.
Who are you?
I'm all the things you needed to say.
You asked a lot of questions.
Yeah. You've been doing that for years. You've just been afraid to answer them. I gave you permission to say all the things you wanted to say.
Some of that was really hard to say.
Yeah.
Did it seem positive at all? Or was it all just really sad?
I think you have the capacity for so much. You know, you found those little moments. Obviously, you recognize them, or I wouldn't have been able to say it.
Or draw it?
You could have been a great artist, even if you skill wise are not great.
Mm-hmm.
It's not about skill. Drawing makes you happy. Do you remember the last time something else made you happy?
There's not many on that list.
So now that you know, what do you wish you had done when you were on Earth? I'm not talking about our mission. I'm not talking about our notes. And you kept yourself so separately because you said that is what you were supposed to do. And I respect that. But what did you want?
wish I could have just drawn more. And maybe with someone who would draw with me. Maybe teach me. Or I could teach them. That first time when you said sharing those moments with others. I want that.
I'm really sorry that you're not going to get it.
It's okay.
You are literally lying to yourself right now. You know that, right?
Until the end, right? I've done it this far. It's okay.
You know, you come up with my voice. And I know that there's not a lot of time left.
How much time do you think I have?
Well,
Minutes?
yeah,
Probably.
probably.
Probably. It's okay.
Do you I know that you have something to draw on.
Mm.
Maybe just draw one more thing.
Of my broken radio that's no longer blinking?
Draw that moment. Draw someone with you. A companion. We deserve happiness. You know, we always did the right thing, right? We always chose the path.
It's good. It will create a pathway of happiness for others.
Yeah.
Can that be my consolation? I may not have been very good about it for myself, but for others, I can offer a little bit more opportunity.
You remember the little boy that lived next door?
Yes.
Who's very loud.
Very impressive how long he could scream. I do not think it slept at all.
No. Do you remember the look on his mom's face when he was walking down the hallway? Like the very first time that he could walk on his own, he was so small. It was very strange.
I think he was equally surprised.
She just looked really happy. And I think that you deserve a moment like that. You've done a lot. You left your unit and your planet, and you came to a place that was not designed to welcome you.
Mm. That counts as a full life, though, right? That's pretty good.
Yeah.
If you were to read it.
You know what's good is that I think it was about year 2 that you stopped really following the format of the notes.
We're not supposed to write in colored pens.
There's so many colors.
I told them that my local store had run out of black and blue pens.
I think you put a lot of you into those reports.
I don't think there was a lot of me, though, to add.
I think that's always been your problem. You don't see your impact on the things around you. But there were always little moments. And I always wondered why you didn't put them in.
They wouldn't want to read that. I had
Yeah.
already offered enough distraction with the colored font and extra pictures. You have to pace those things out. People don't want all of it.
I think they do. It's okay for you to be all of you. You shouldn't hide it because it's different.
I suppose a lesson learned too late.
I don't know. You're sending all of those drawings. I feel like at the end it was almost exclusively drawings.
Felt natural.
They're going to find a way to understand that all those other people couldn't give them. They were clinical, very put together and by the book, scientific. But humans aren't that. They're so much more complicated and messy. And you understood that. And you're going to help.
I hope it does.
I know that I'm not real.
Feels real enough. That counts, right?
It does.
Is my English and human translation even good, or is this my head just saying it is?
I understand you perfectly. Do you think that you could believe hard enough for me to show up and give you a hug?
I could draw that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can draw that.
Well, thank you. I'm really glad that you spent a lot of time with me. I feel like you've been maybe ignoring me for a while. So it's been really nice for me to really get to know you.
I'm the same. Thank you. Thank you for not just letting me go in these moments.
And the timer just went off.
What do I need to say again?
I'm out of time.
I'm out of time. That's hard.
Yeah. Oh, how are we doing?
Oh, that was heavy.
It was very heavy. I don't know if you drew any cards. You were rocking.
No, not at all.
I drew.
I was like, oh yeah, these are the three.
Okay. I drew a bunch. I helped nudge you around, and the last one I drew was the Joker, which is confess.
Yeah.
What it was. And I was like, well, here we go.
That the big secret at the
big
end.
secret's coming out. Yeah, wow. Heavy game.
Yes.
But like really good, I think.
I think so. It was very intense. I like this as a prompt that doesn't necessarily focus on details of like what it is, but it's an opportunity to see and talk about approaches, perspectives.
Yeah. Like
that's fascinating.
I think because it is so story driven, I think that you just like have to be with someone that you are comfortable with to play it. And I think you have to be willing to just like just go wherever the other person is taking you. Like I think I think it could be tough. This I don't think could be like a convention game. Like I don't think you could play this with a stranger. Like
everyone
and just like all the craziness around you. Like
yeah.
I think it needs to be quiet and still and like you have to be like, I'm good to be lonely here.
Yes.
This is gonna be bad. But like
yes. Well, and to be in it. But I also am very grateful about the 1 hour time limit too.
Yeah.
Because it is a lot, and not knowing if it could end, like if this were a 2 hour thing or a 3 hour, emotionally, that'd be too much.
Too much. Absolutely too much. Like, I think it was very smart with that time limit because if you go over that, like when we were at like
heavy.
10 minutes to go, I was like, ooh, I like was checking, was like, are we good? Okay. We're almost done.
I mean, you get a lot. Even we try to offer little moments of brevity.
Yeah.
Right. And I don't think everyone would think of that or feel like you would need to do that. And so if you are deep in the heavy emotions constantly, this is, bring snacks to this. Bring snacks to this.
It's draining.
Yeah.
Rehydrate and have some chocolate or something.
Yes.
Like you need a little something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What was it like holding on to that secret the entire time?
This is wild. Speaking of secrets, so there's a couple of options. I drew that I was a hallucination.
Okay.
You were going nuts.
Yeah.
Because you knew it was going to be over in an hour and you needed something. The other options were that I was the spaceship's AI pretending to be human.
Okay.
Or someone from Earth who is truly trying to help.
I like the hallucination a lot, actually.
The hallucination. Yeah. And then the last one was the same person, but on like an alternate timeline.
Oh, that could be real interesting.
Like who chose not to ever become an astronaut or whatever. Like somebody
took a very different path.
Yeah.
Yeah, that could be really good. Dang. All good options.
All good options. Yeah. And all really different.
Yes.
Like,
yes. Well, even how we interpret this one, right? Like, and the choice, like, I was like, oh gosh. Even the difference of like, if this was a good encounter, right? Instead of a bad encounter, how that changes the tones and the perspectives and the examples we bring in.
yep.
Mm.
And like you chose bad. Obviously, you chose like it's gonna be bad. They found out who I am, and there's gonna be a problem.
Yeah.
And like it would have changed in an interesting way if it was like it was really good, and you left because it was too good.
Yeah,
like that you were gonna be stuck. Like you wouldn't allow yourself to become assimilated like that, and you know. I feel like we did a lot of like, first of all, I'm gonna have some applesauce because I feel like let's restore some calories, everyone. Yeah. But I also like, I feel like we went super deep on like what it means to be a human.
Yes. Like, when do we have fulfilling lives? How do we spend our time and try to create meaning out of it? And
what are the pieces that stand out, the moments that stand out to us?
Yes. Or even how we view ourselves individually, or especially being an outsider looking as everybody as a whole, right? Kind of ignoring both their own individuality and the individuality of the people they're observing.
Yeah. And like, when you were like, everybody's busy. Yeah. I was like, oh. Just like as a person, I was like, oh no.
Tell me I'm wrong.
I can't. I can't tell you you're wrong. Yeah. But like it's a lot. Sort of like brought up all of the things that like I simultaneously love and hate about being a person. Being a person is a nightmare sometimes.
It's hard. It's hard on so many levels, right? Like, because we like society expectations, survivability within the space, and then even living up to what our own standards are. Like, what do we want? Do we even answer or pay attention to what we want?
No. Well, and like as femme presenting people, there's a set of expectations on us. Yeah. Of like being what everybody else needs. Yes. Right? Like, yes. So often we are defined as like who we are as a wife or mother or daughter or friend, or, you know, like there's so many things that like, that's how we're almost like introduced.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even beyond that, like for us, typically once we learn someone's name, we ask, well, what do you do? Right?
What do you do?
You are defined by the job that you do. And sometimes we don't even allow for like things that you do. It's work that you get paid for is how we're identifying it and only valuing it, which is such, because most of us can't work jobs that we just always like, or not every job, right? That we work. Sometimes we do it as separate side jobs, but like our main job isn't always the thing that we love 24/7 or is our big passion. And so for that to be such a big identifier, it hits at you.
What do you do? Yeah.
Yes. Yep. Yes.
Yeah. And there's also like an age thing of like where you should be by this time in your life. And if you are not there, there's so much judgment, and it often comes from yourself, like from the inside of like, well, I said that by the time I was this age, that I would have done these 3 or 4 big stepping stone things, and I haven't done them. Yeah. So I'm clearly a failure.
Yes.
You know, and like,
it's hard. Yeah. And again, these are all made up metrics that we give ourselves. Like, by this age, you need who says that we have to do it? And it's hard. And even when we deviate, right? Like if you deviate, then there's like a secondary set of standards that kick in that if you deviate, then you have to be incredibly successful or like knock it out of the park to prove us wrong. Like there's no then risk or there's no opportunity for failure.
Yeah.
Right.
Right.
If you're going to be different, then it has to be perfect.
Then there's so much like, well, I told you so. I told you that was, it was not going to be a thing.
Yeah. You should have stuck with the safe route, the pathway that's already been carved.
Right. That's the thing that we set up for you. Yeah. So you have to go and do it.
Yeah. And so that's the challenge of like, well, what does it mean to live successfully? Is it surviving? Being just okay? Right? Like, and that's the hard part.
I don't want to just survive, though. That sounds like, I understand that there are definitely time periods in your life when you're like, I just made it through and that's good enough. But like overall.
Yeah.
Just
that's not
like
satisfying.
Yeah. I want to look back on things and like, I never want to think about the fact like, oh, in this hour that I have left to live, let's take a look back on what I've done. But like I want to know that there are moments that exist outside of work that are going to stand out.
Yeah.
And even if they're small moments, like I want to let myself feel them and have them. And like, I think so often in society, like, well, but if I didn't finish everything on my to-do list, I feel like the day was lost. And that's not, as much as I love lists, because I do, they're a love language of mine, I think, truly. But like, I'm very hard on myself if I haven't finished everything on the list. And that's just, I made the list.
Yeah. Like, you're the taskmaster in this case.
Like,
but that's where it's harder. Right?
Yeah. Yep.
Because then it feels silly. Like if I can't hold myself to these lists, why am I creating them? Or why am I failing even the goals I created for myself? And it's being cruel to ourselves that we do this. But at the same time, we do this. We hurt ourselves in such a way. And I think also it makes me think like when you come up with the lists, how important like that list is and what it includes about who we are.
Like, what are we prioritizing?
Yes. And we prioritize work, or we prioritize like that we're a parent, or we prioritize that whatever task that we do. And it's so hard because we want to be seen as whole. But that also means we have to have time to be whole, to explore and figure out like where those gaps are. Who else can I be besides just this one identity, this, job title that I have, or one hobby that I've picked up, how do I get to know who I am?
And like, so often like rest is not a thing that anybody sees as important or vital to like reading a book for pleasure is actually super important for like the creative process. Like you're recharging your brain and your body and like, but then you have that guilt that society is just shoving on you. That's like, but I should be monetizing something right now.
Yes. I need to put it in a way that can be measured as an achievement.
Right. Like I could just let that joke of like, do the thing you love and you'll never work a day in your life, which has turned into do the thing you love and you'll freak out and never sleep because all you're doing is chasing that extra.
And then you'll work every moment of your life.
Every moment of your life. Every moment. Yeah. And like, I have 2 teenagers and they are so excellent at doing nothing for a whole day at a time. Just like stretching out on the couch and watching like the trashiest of trash TV and just like
I love it.
Also drawing or reading or scrolling on their phone or surprise, I took a nap in the middle of the day on this couch.
Yeah.
This thing was like, I don't know when we lose that. Like the ability to just be. It's been a real heavy episode, everybody.
It has. But I think that's why we do things like TTRPGs. They allow us through lived experiences in these worlds to gain perspectives and understandings that on our own, sometimes it's terrifying to face.
Yeah, absolutely.
Or that we wouldn't have, to have your own hallucination be able to talk to you, right? At this point, I have not had that experience. Maybe in the future.
Fingers crossed.
Right. But it's important that we get to go through this, and it gives us points of empathy.
Yeah.
It gives us chances of just that which we would not have been able to experience by ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. And that's the other nice thing, is that you do it together.
Yeah. You've created this space, this little sandbox where you're like, everything that happens in here, don't worry, it's pretend. And you are safe. And like, we can talk about the scary existential dread stuff.
Yes.
And question whether or not we are enough, and if what we are doing is enough, and like, hopefully maybe come out of it on the other side and be like, we're doing good. We're okay. Yes. There's only two of us, but do you have any moments of gratitude about the game itself? What we did?
Honestly, I love how well you wrapped it up at the end. Right? Because it could have gone devastatingly worse.
Could have been really sad. I mean, it was already sad. But
yeah. But I appreciate so much how this hallucination, right? Being the same person, that you offered a note of kindness.
I think it's really hard to be kind to yourself.
Yes.
It's a thing that I personally am working on a lot in therapy.
Yes. We all, right? But when you brought that in, I was like, that's what we need.
Yeah.
I was so grateful, and I was so impressed with how well you did that.
Thank you. I loved how willing you were to be just like emotionally naked. Like there was definitely a couple of times where I was like letting it breathe and like seeing you allow yourself to have the emotions and to have them on your face, and like struggle is not the right word, but like to struggle through the sentences of like, this is what is happening to me right now, and I'm letting it happen. Like, it just like, you were the correct person to come play this game with me. And I really appreciate it. Because I just, I think that it would have been really easy to just like go goofy, because it's a really uncomfortable story. And a lot of times it's very easy for people to just be like, I'll just make a joke because I don't want to feel things.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think it's, it was really cool, like to be able to tell this story. I
love it.
I promise the next one that we play will be like really fun and ridiculous.
We'll just be silly, and we'll put stickers on our face.
We'll just be stickers, and like maybe there will be talking animals that are not hallucinated, and maybe like maybe there'll be
all of it. But this was so good, and I think if people are like, "Is this game for me?" I would do it with a loved one. I think this is a great way to build such an important degree of vulnerability and connection and understanding with someone.
Yeah. Maybe do it just in two different rooms so that you can hug each other at the end.
Yeah.
That'd be nice.
Yes.
I'm going to hold on to the hug I have for you until I see you in June. Oh, that's a long time.
I know it is. Let's speed it up. Okay. Where's our little time machine?
Boo.
Come on.
We're still trying to get you to GaryCon. So it would be March. March is much closer.
Okay.
It's not as close as I would like, but it's closer.
Yes. Sooner. Send virtual hugs to your friends, everyone.
Yeah. Or just like legitimately, just like text somebody you haven't talked to in a while and just be like, hey, I love you.
Yes.
just send one out. It's nice. A little, just a little check-in.
Yes. Yes. Hey.
Hey, beep, beep, beep. I found this gif of these unicorns and puppies, and it reminded me how much I love you. Or, whatever your particular brand of gif with that person is.
Yes. Whatever. Anything.
Not going to judge you.
No. Even if they're sexy Halloween postcards. I saw your Instagram post. That was amazing.
It was so good. Yeah, Dork Zombie, he does the best art. And recently he was like, hey, I got some postcards. Who wants one? And I was like, I can't reply fast enough. And with as many capital letters, hey.
Me. This person.
So much me.
Thank you.
I just really love getting stuff in the mail that is not a bill.
Yes.
It makes me feel like a kid again, because the only mail that you got when you were a kid was like a postcard from your friend, maybe, who was on vacation with their family somewhere, Mail things out. I have so many stickers. I'm going to do a sticker mailing soon. I'm sending it out.
Good idea. Share it with the world.
Also, I understand that we just had Halloween and it just ended, but I'm not really a Halloween girly because I really hate being scared. And whatever, Thanksgiving, but we are now in the socially acceptable, it's Christmas time window of the year.
Yes, we are.
And I love Christmas so much. And I ordered a 4-foot tall pink Christmas tree that is going to be in my streaming station. It's going to be right back there.
Just this massive tree.
Big Christmas tree. And I found a tutorial on how to make garland that looks like a friendship bracelet. And I'm so excited.
Ooh.
Listen.
Are you going to do a DIY crafting stream as you make the garland?
Maybe I could do that. I could maybe do a little.
Actually, let me take something. You don't have to turn everything into content. That's my content.
No.
I
understand. I also do like, I work better if somebody is body doubling me. I'm sure you've heard.
We're here with you. We're watching. We're doing it together. Yeah.
And you just do your own craft or whatever. And like, hi friends, I'm just going to be over here working on my thing. I have a good friend of mine who we try once a month or so to just like get together, and we each have a pile of projects of like crafty or costumey projects or whatever. And we just like sit in the same room and like work on stuff and watch garbage television. And it's my favorite thing.
That's perfect. Yes.
Yeah. Let's do more of that.
Yes. Do more of that, everyone. I think that's always a good idea.
There's going to be a Christmas tree soon. Maybe next episode. I don't know. It depends on.
As soon as you get it, it's going up. I believe it.
I mean, I might try to hold off, but I'm bad at that.
Don't hold off. Embrace it.
Listen, this is another thing. My partner is always yelling at me about it because as soon as I get a present for any occasion, I'm like, I want to give it to you now. And I'm an early shopper because I always want to make sure that it comes in on time. And so it'll be like weeks before whatever the event is. And I'm like, I have your present. Let me give it to you. And they're like, no, baby, no. Like, let's wait. It's not for, 2.5 weeks. I'm like, right, but
yeah.
But like, take it. I just like presents.
Yes. Yeah. You're like, I did this. It's thoughtful. You're going to love it. Yeah.
It's going to make you happy. I want to make you happy.
Yes. Let's speed it up. Yes. But then there's a challenge. Like if you do that early, then it's the day of and it's like.
But then I'll get another thing. I can't. Even if it's something little, I can't help it. I'll just be like,
no, I understand.
On the actual day, I also baked this thing. I do a lot of homemade. Listen, I have a problem.
Oh, that's thoughtful of you. That's thoughtful of you. I love that. Yeah. It's okay. That's a good problem to have.
I agree. Yes. It's on the internet now.
Yes. So yes. I mean, if we were to draw problems like how we did for cards, right? Like that would not be a bad problem to pull.
That would not be a bad problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. That one, giving gifts early, is the 7 of spades.
Yeah. Yes. Yes.
And I have drawn it, and you're all going to reap the benefits. Ta-da.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. Too much love from your friend Sarah. Oh, no. All right. Well, hey, what do you have coming up? Anything?
What do I have coming up? Well, this Saturday, I'm hanging out with my friend Chimsky because we are doing a charity stream for Extra Life on Saturday. I know. It'll be great. 6 p.m. Eastern. I know. That'll be fun. That's how, yeah.
And it's on where? Where can we see
Dungeon Scrawlers. I believe it's going to be on theirs.
Yay. Mm-hmm. Delightful. Mm-hmm. Great. I'm going to pop it on. It is my oldest child's 18th birthday party on Saturday.
Hey.
Yeah. It's Lord of the Rings themed. It has been a lot. It's going to be
how many hobbits are coming? Yeah.
Going to be dressed like Frodo. Has requested that at least one person dress as a wizard.
Yeah.
All the food came out of, hold on, I actually have it right here.
Do I need to send some bottle rockets so there are fireworks?
John Peterson, all the food is coming from Heroes Feast.
Excellent.
Which means I gotta start cooking.
Another one of your specialties. Perfect.
Just keeps happening. And I said, do you want me to do decorations?
Yeah.
And he said, our house is already a little hobbit hole. So we don't have to do decorations.
Like, it is.
And I was like, you're not wrong. It is kind of a little hobbit hole.
Honestly, great aesthetic choices.
Yeah, it's cozy. Also weird because I think a witch built it. But that's a thing for a whole nother stream, I think.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'll do a weird tour of my house, my little witch house.
Please do.
I'm sure Gen Con will be fine with that.
Yeah. Yeah. Ooh. What do you have coming up? How about that?
I mean, birthday stuff. Lots of birthday stuff.
Yes. Can't see past the birthday. That's a lot going on already.
It's a lot. That's But like, I think so. Next week, next Sarah's table next Friday, I'm doing a session 0 of a game called Passport, which is actually another 2-person RPG from this same collection, but you play it through the mail. And so you're supposed to buy a little journal. Yeah. And then you set up stuff during session 0. And then you whoever has the book controls the narrative and puts a prompt in and then mails it to the other player. And then they do the same thing. And the game ends when there's no more pages in the book. And so I'm really excited about the idea of this being like a couple month campaign situation.
Oh, yeah.
And you can be separated just by space, or you can be separated by time.
Oh.
Which is also very interesting.
Oh.
So we'll see.
I'm going to have to tune in for that one. That sounds wild.
Yeah. I just like, I felt really grateful that because this is a job of mine, that I'm sort of always on the lookout for interesting RPGs that are like, just like off the beaten path kind of a thing. And it means I buy a bunch of things that I don't always get to play, but like, it also means that every so often I'm like, oh, but this could be a thing. And then get the little weird grabby hands. And I'm like, it's time.
But it looks good with your nails. So, you know.
No, listen, my nails. Okay. So let me see if it'll show.
Ooh.
I put little they're little polka dots, and my partner.
They look like sprinkles from my angle.
Sprinkles or gumballs.
Yep. I can see that.
Yeah, but it's about time to one of the things that I have allowed myself to do in my current age. I was going to say old age. I understand I'm not old, but I also am not really young anymore.
We're in that
my middle age,
as they say.
Is I let myself go get a manicure every 4 to 6 weeks. And they massage your hands, and then my nails look pretty.
Yep.
I'm allowed to like have these simple pleasures. It is like an hour and a half that I cannot do any work because they have my hands.
Yep. Forced relaxation.
So much of my like once a month I get a facial because I have to lay down for an hour and a half and nobody can talk to me.
Hold
like,
still.
Just, nobody move. Okie dokie. But that's fine. Whatever gets you there.
Yes.
And
yes.
I have found my technicians that I love and I pay them money once a month. Everybody wins in this situation.
Yep. They take care of you. Right. It's a good deal. But you're right. It reminds me like the importance of taking care of yourself, recognizing your needs, and the importance of rest.
Rest is the theme of the day. Everybody needs more rest.
Yes. Yes. Especially with the holiday season. Like sometimes that equates to more busyness.
It ramps up.
Yes.
Yeah. As much as I love Christmas, Christmas comes with a lot of trappings of like, you know, you have to celebrate with multiple sides of the family. There's a lot of, both of my kids are still in school. So there's a lot of stuff surrounding, you know, end of the year concerts and all of that stuff and performances and award ceremonies and finals and like
all of it.
It's a lot of stuff.
It doesn't stop either.
No, it doesn't. Also, like Thanksgiving's very stressful.
Yes. And it's not often given a lot of time. So it's all real quick. You got to fit everything in real fast. Excuse me.
But the day after Thanksgiving is the day that we decorate in the house for Christmas. And so I get really excited as soon as the very last Thanksgiving thing happens. Because then I'm like,
here we go.
Now I'm going to turn the Christmas music on. It's happening.
Make it real. Make it real. Make it all happen. Live your best holiday life.
This morning in the shower, I definitely started singing a Christmas song unintentionally. And I was like, uh-oh.
Embrace it. No uh-ohs. Embrace it.
All right. Before we go, I do need to know what your favorite Christmas/holiday movie is.
Ooh.
Are you a Christmas person?
Not normally.
Okay.
So, but instead of that, could I say I just really like an open fire and hot chocolate?
Heck yeah.
And a little bit of cinnamon whiskey in it.
Oh, interesting. Like that.
Give me that fireball.
I'm a really big fan of, I love hot chocolate because chocolate, but I also really love making like mulled cider.
Ooh, yes.
Really delicious.
Yes.
And I also heard, I'm going to have to try it, that if you get like a sweeter, like red wine, that it actually goes really well in hot chocolate.
I am willing to experiment with that.
Shut.
I volunteer to try that.
Hey, that's great. And then you let me know how it is.
Okay.
And I will also experiment and I will let you know.
Yes.
And we will compare notes.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. Especially one with more like a cherryish flavor in it.
Because that would go well. Berries and chocolate go really well together.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So we're both thinking about it now. I'm like, what do I
going to go
have
make
in the
later?
kitchen? I feel like I have some stuff that I could just like go try it now, maybe.
Yes.
All right.
Probably.
Great. Well, hey, thank you so much for being here today. This was really delightful.
It was. Thank you so much for having me here.
Literally, I will have you whenever you are available.
Deal.
Okay. I'm just going to keep sending you links in your inbox. You just keep clicking on them. I promise they're all from me.
Yep. I'm like, yes.
Yes. I'm in. Also, I would like to thank my editor, Jeff, who is also my partner, who tries really hard for keep me like sane.
Yes.
We'll
Well
see.
done.
I think you may currently be making dinner, which is the best way to keep me sane is to just feed me.
Yes, of course.
And I would like to thank Peter Atkinson and Gen Con TV for giving me this platform and letting me do crazy stuff that is sometimes really funny and sometimes super sad. Thank you to Tobie Abad for making this beautiful game. Everybody should try it. If you look in the notes of this episode, you're going to find where you can get it. But if you just go to itch.io and type in you and I, it's a cat on the cover, and that is it's not very expensive. It's a little, just a little sweetie. And thank you to Marcus Mays for being our tech at Gen Con TV and like making sure that we are running smooth. And thank you to everyone at home for hanging out with me this evening. And as always, keep making art and keep being art. We'll see you next time. Mwah.